Margaret Hardy, one of our regular Goldies, was born in the tiny South Wales mining village of Bedwas. She lived there from 1934 to 1964. Her wonderful poetry captures the beauty and detail of the villages in the mining communities at that time. Margaret continues to write incredible poetry at 85 years of age, much to the pleasure and admiration of her family and close friends. Valley's Shops by Margaret Hardy. Do you remember, as I remember, back in 1944, the village shops, the shortages, when the country was at war? Ration books, evacuees, cod liver oil and malt, Smith's crisps in a paper bag, along with a pinch of salt. I remember James the draper selling stockings, lisle and silk. Bishops trading in fruit and veg, and Ada delivering milk. Newspapers from the corner shop sold by Mrs. Knight, and James the baker's oven baking loaves throughout the night. The name of Lewis the butcher displayed in front of his store, W.G. Lewis etched in white marble, and sawdust on the floor. Plenty of offal could be had for making pies and stews, all devoured by hungry miners when they put on the 6 o'clock news. Jones the fish on Tuesdays. A queue would form to take whatever fish he had to sell, be it haddock, cod, or hake. Another shop along the street, we knew it as Top Shop. Baked beans, biscuits, lard, no bacon, all essential fare. It even had a railway taking money through the air. Mr. Evans the chemist, sorting prescriptions from the dock, selling ointment, medicines and laxatives like chalks. Baby food, hot water bottles, teething rings with bells, all arranged in order in cases on glass shelves. Mrs. Rogers the post office, selling postal orders and stamps, giving out withdrawal forms, weighing parcels tied with string, paying out family allowances to help mothers with their kin. An undertaker's parlour, based at the top of the hill, looking after people's needs with diplomatic skill, making coffins 6 foot and less. The Williams family is still there, doing their very best. Hairdressers, cobblers, dressmakers too, and a midwife waiting, bag in hand, a baby to deliver. Dr. Ellis in his surgery sorting out your liver. Caerleon was a mile away if you needed shoes. Dad was in the Royal Oak trying out the booze. Mum's hobby was the picture house down at the Workman's Hall. We sat there in the dark and watched Bogart and Bacall. So many memories, some good, some bad, but a house full of love from Mum and Dad. A colliery stood at the top of the hill. Its winding gear was never still. How often have my children asked of the village when I was young? How often have they asked, what was it like? I said, my life had just begun. Well, keeping connected in these strange and difficult times is so very important. And many thanks to all our terrific golden oldies who are helping us get through it. And especially people like Margaret for writing her wonderful poem and taking the time to explain the inspiration behind it.
I'm really happy that my little poem that I just made up really for my sister. She's a year and 4 months younger than me, and we talk about the old days a lot, which I'm sure if there's anybody watching this that's the same age as me, will appreciate it. We remember those days together, so I just jotted down a few lines, and it was for her really that I wrote it. Most of the people who lived in the village worked in the colliery, which the office is gone, the colliery's gone, it's all green fields again. The church street had the shops, You had to go to Caerleon if you wanted to buy anything really important like shoes or but we had everything there. The chemist, the post office, a draper shop with wool, bias binding, cotton, everything you needed. Mrs. Knight had a delivery of ice cream, Lion's ice cream. It was right opposite the schoolyard, and she organised that all that ice cream was brought into the schoolyard, and we all had a Lion's, if anyone can remember this, Lion's ice cream with sort of cardboard wrapped around it, and she gave it. That was my first ice cream. It was delicious. There were 3 pubs in Church Street. One of them was the Royal Oak, and my father, Don Meredith, loved going in there, and he could always be assured of a free pint if he gave the landlady a bunch of sweets. There was a shop called Top Shop. My uncle Bert, he used to be working in there, cutting the bacon. Auntie Sybil was in this desk. Now, there were no cash registers on the counters, so when you wanted to buy a pound of sugar or bacon or whatever, you gave it to the assistant, the other side of the counter. She put it into a small cup, screwed it and pulled a sort of wire, which zoomed off like on a railway into this glass house arrangement where Auntie Sybil was sitting. She would take it, look at the bill, organise the change, put it in, back to the counter. So no cash registers anywhere near.